Selection is the process of selecting or choosing the right candidate or suitable candidate for the particular job. Interview or the written test in that particular situation cannot judge an individual performance or their ability. So that is called validity. Under selection, we are going to test their ability and skills and knowledge. So it helps to eliminate the candidates who are lacking in knowledge, ability and proficiency. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all to the 5th session on Human Resource Management. I am Meghana from the Department of Commerce, lecturing in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. In the last session, we have discussed about the recruitment, process of recruitment. The last session for the Unit 2, that is selection. So in today's session, let us discuss with the selection. What do you mean by selection? Then advantages of selection, selection process, barriers to effective selection, and the last topic, placement. So let us start with the selection. What do you mean by selection? So now you know what do you mean by recruitment. It is a positive process of collecting application as well as stimulating them to apply for the job in the organization. So it's a positive process of collecting application from the candidates. So then selection means after collecting the application, you need to evaluate their application and select the best candidate. So selection is the process of selecting or choosing the right candidate or suitable candidate for the particular job. So it may be considered as a negative process. For example, in the recruitment process, we'll collect all the applications. So it's a positive process. We are going to stimulate them to apply for the job. But in the selection process, we are trying to eliminate the application. So we try to eliminate and cut down the application and select only the best candidates. So it's a process of interviewing the candidates in order to evaluate their knowledge and skill. Based on the evaluation, we are going to pick suitable person for the right job. So after that, we are going to place them at the right time at a right place in the organization. So in order to get the effective result, you need to select the suitable candidate. So selection is a process of choosing the most suitable candidates. So now we have a number of application. So from the number of application, we need to select the most suitable candidate for the vacant position. In other words, selection can be explained as the process of interviewing the candidates to evaluate their qualities and knowledge, evaluate their qualities, knowledge and experience which are required for a specific job. In order to accomplish the job, in order to perform the job, you need to have some qualities and experience. So we are going to evaluate that qualities. So then choosing the suitable candidate for that position. So that is selection. Moving further, what are the advantages of selection? So first one, it's a cost effective and reduce a lot of time and efforts. So it reduces the lot of time and efforts for the management. So now we stimulate the people in order to apply for the job in the organization. So in the recruitment, we collect the application from the candidates. So we don't go for the external source like consultancy agency or job recruitment agency. So it reduces the cost for the management as well as, so now job specification and job design, job description, it specifies the requirement for the organization. So it specifies the skills and knowledge for the job as well as the ability and the experience of the individual. So it reduces the time for the management for this selection process. So next, it reduces the time. It reduces the time for the management in order to train or in order to give guidance for the employees. So if we select the suitable candidates, it reduces the time for training or guidance. So it reduces the time for the management. So next one, it helps avoid any bias while recruiting the right candidates. So selection process, we are going to evaluate. We are going to evaluate their knowledge and skill. Based on that, we are going to select. So in the recruitment process, we are going to collect the application. So you may receive the application from your relatives or any other factors, but in the selection process, after evaluating their performance only, you are going to select the best candidate. So it avoids any biasing while recruiting the right candidates. So next one, it helps eliminating the candidates who are lacking in knowledge, ability and proficiency. So this selection, it includes interview and various testing process. So under selection, we are going to test their ability and skills and knowledge. So it helps to eliminate the candidates who are lacking in knowledge, ability and proficiency. So now we can select the best candidate for the job or the vacancy. So it provides a guideline to evaluate the candidates' future through the strict verification and reference checking. So under selection process, we are going to check. So reference check as well as the verification. So it helps to this selection process. Under selection process, we are going to cross verify their application or profile. So it helps to guide or it helps to evaluate the candidate performance in future. So through this, we can get to know their experience, past experience as well as their ability. So it helps the management to evaluate their performance and to expect from the employees. So next one, it helps in comparing the different candidates in terms of their capabilities, knowledge, skill, experience and work attitudes, etc. So this selection based on their skills and requirement, we are going to select the suitable candidate. It helps to differentiate. It helps to differentiate candidate as well as it helps to compare the different applications. So one may be good at presentation, other candidate he may be good at theory or any other paperwork. So we can differentiate, we can compare the two applications and we can select the suitable candidates based on the requirements. It helps to compare the two different candidates. So these are the advantages under selection. Moving further, next step is selection process. So the steps involved in the selection process. So first one is recruitment. Under recruitment, we are going to collect the application from the candidate. So this is the positive steps of selection process. We are going to stimulate the candidates to apply for the job in organization. So we are going to motivate them in order to apply for the job. The more number of application, the more scope for the recruitment process. So here under the recruitment step, we are going to collect the application from the candidates. Then we are going to move for the further step. So next step is applications. So after that, after recruitment process, now we need to analyze, we need to evaluate all the application and select the suitable candidates or suitable application for the next procedure. So all the application will not match with the expectation or the requirement. So now you need to analyze, you need to evaluate the application. Next, you need to eliminate some of the application. So after applications, next step is written test. After evaluating and cut down of application, so next step is written test. So under written test, we are going to test their ability under written test. So written test has to be conducted and in this step, again we are going to eliminate some of the candidates based on their performance. So next one is interview. So after the written test, the selected candidates will attend the interview. So after the selection test, the remaining candidates will attend the interview. In the interview, it may be a face-to-face, one-to-one interview or it may be a group discussion. So the various types of interview. So after that, reference check. After attending an interview, then we will go for the reference check, background check, their ability and their performance in the past company. So all this we are going to check. So under the reference check. So after that, medical examination. So in order to check their mental ability, in order to check their mental fitness and medical fitness or their medical condition, we will go for this medical examination. So their mental fitness in order to perform that particular task or job. So after medical examination, then final selection. So after this medical examination, final selection, placement and induction. After eliminating the number of candidates from all the steps, so the remaining candidate, it may be 1:3 or 1:2, then we are going to select best candidate. So the number of requirements, we are going to fill the number of requirement in the final selection process. So after that, placement. So under placement, assign a right job for the right employee, right candidate. So then induction. So, give an introduction or introduce your employee to the working environment and working culture. So, these all are the selection process. So, the steps involved in the selection process. So, under the selection process, we are going to eliminate, we are going to reduce the number of application in the selection process. But in the recruitment, it is a positive process. We try to increase, we try to accept all the application from the candidates. So, it's a positive process. We motivate them, we stimulate them to apply for the job in the organization. But here, we try to cut down the application. For example, the requirement or the number of vacancy is 500. Here, the number of vacancy is 500. Under recruitment process, we will collect 1500 applications. So, it's a recruitment process, it's a positive process. We accept all the application from the candidates. So, then we will eliminate some of the candidates, verifying their application. So, after evaluating, we will deduct the number of application to 1250. So, now it's a negative process. Now, we'll try to reduce the number of candidates. So, after that, we'll go for the written test. So, under written test, again we will deduct it and we will cut down it to 1000. So, again we try to reduce the number of candidates. So, after written test, then interview and reference check. So, after this, now we have 1:2 application. So, for the one job, we have a 2 candidates. So, now the more application, we have a more option or more chance for the better selection. So, now we have 1:2 candidates. We can select best suitable candidate for that particular job. So, all this is apart from this recruitment, all this is a negative process. We try to eliminate the candidates or the application in this selection process. So, this is all about the selection process. Moving further, what all are the barriers for this selection process? So, first one is perception. Perception towards the candidate may influence in the selection process. For example, if the HR manager is interviewing for the sales department or salesperson, the HR manager perception is only the male candidate will suit for the sales position. So, that is his perception, HR manager perception. Women candidate attends interview for the sales position. He may think that female candidate won't suitable for this position. So, this perception will influence on the selection process. She may be a good candidate than male applicant, but the perception of an HR manager or the top management will influence in this selection process. So, there is perception. So, individual perception towards the applicants or about the position or vacancy. So, it influences on the selection process. So, it is a barrier for the selection process. So, next one, fairness. So, fairness, it includes the favorism about the religion, caste or race and gender. So, it influences in the selection process. So, it become a barrier for the selection process. So, next one, validity. Under validity, it includes test for the selection process. So, it determines or it reflects only the result if the individual can perform the job or not, but it will not describe the success of the particular job. So, for that situation, he may not perform well. He may be a good candidate, but at that situation, he cannot perform well due to various reasons. So, it's a barrier. Only the interview or the written test in that particular situation cannot judge an individual performance or their ability. So, that is called validity. So, next one, reliability. So, under reliability, reliability means if the management fails to analyze, fails to perform, fails to appreciate an individual performance. So, performance appraisal, if they fails to appraise or appreciate the individual performance. So, that comes under the reliability. So, next one, pressure. So, pressure from external source like political parties and higher authority in the selection process. So, it is a barrier for the selection process. So, all this are the barrier for selection process. So, moving further, last topic is placement. So, what do you mean by placement? Placement means after this selection, putting the right person at the right place. So, giving the rights, authority, responsibility, accountability for the new employee. So placement is the act of offering the job to the finally selected candidates. So in the last example, we have selected 100 candidates. So here the vacancy is 100. So we have selected 100 application or 100 candidates. So after selecting the 100 application or the candidates, so offering the job for selected candidates. Now we need to offer the job for selected candidates. So it is an act of finally assigning the rank and responsibility to an employee. So rank and responsibility for that employee. Again, identifying him with the particular job. So for the particular job, sales department or manufacturing department, and the authority and responsibility, and the rank, higher authority or the lower authority or subordinate, team leader. So their rank and roles and responsibility for the selected employee. So in other words, placement is determination of the job to which an accepted candidate is to be assigned and his assignments to that job. So you need to assign for a particular job. You need to assign an employee for the particular job and assignment for that particular employee. So what all are the duties and responsibility of a particular employee? That roles and responsibility for that particular job you need to assign. So next, it's a matching of what the supervisor has reason to think he can do with the job demand. It's a matching of what he imposes in strain, working condition, and what he offers from the payroll, compensation with others. So promotional possibilities, etc. So placement means it's all about expectation, and now we are going to match with the requirement as well as the performance. So what all are the requirement for the particular job and their performance for the employment performance. So will they match? Next, we are going to evaluate. It may be influence on your payroll as well as the promotion and various other factors. So next is features of placement. So it improves the morale of the employee. So now we are appointing or giving the right position for the right candidate. It helps to improve the morale of candidates. So next one, it reduces employee turnover. Now we are assigning the duty for an employee based on their skills and knowledge, based on their experience and based on their ability. So they can perform better. It helps to increase the productivity. So it helps to reduce the employee turnover. So next one, decreases accident rate. So now based on your skills and knowledge, we are going to assign the duty. So it helps to decrease the mistakes as well as it helps to increase the productivity and efficiency in the employee performance. So next one, enhance the labor productivity. Automatically when employees turnover are reduced, automatically it leads to labor productivity. Next one, clarifies expectation. Now we can expect or we know the ability of an individual. Based on that, we are going to expect from the individual, so that we are going to match with the expectation and the actual performance of an individual. So this is all about placement as well as the selection process. So this is the last topic under unit 2. So for this topic, we finished with the human resource planning, human resource recruitment and selection. In the coming up session, let us start with the unit 3. Until then, keep watching. Thank you.